What's up, guys? How's it going? Been a while since we've done a video. A lot of interesting things have happened. Seen a very strong move from Bitcoin, especially from the last video. We were at 9,100. We've seen a pretty strong move. Kind of came down now, but really want to talk about where we're at. As you see, we've approached this blue arrow, and this means something. So I'm going to talk about those blue arrows. I know I've mentioned them in previous videos, but we're going to do it again. We're going to talk about the log chart and where we stand in terms of the 7-year log channel that Bitcoin's been moving in. Where do we stand? Because these channels, these multi-year channels are very strong, and we're very close to it right now. We're actually about to enter it. So are we going to get in or not? Talk about that and really talk about the bullish scenario, a bullish scenario and a bearish one. So before I continue, it's not financial advice. Please do your own due diligence before making any type of investment. I'm not a financial advisor. These charts are for informational purposes only, just to show you technical analysis and how I look at the chart. And maybe it helps you look at the chart too, but it's not made to be investment advice, purely for informational purposes. All right. So we've had this really strong move from losing the 7-year channel. We saw a 50% drop, and now we're seeing a retest of this area. Now, for the price to get back into the log channel, I'm just going to say that for me, that is a very bullish signal, because this channel was respected for 7 years and the price never went below it. It tried many times, was never able to, tried to go above twice, 2 key tops, and they form an almost perfect parallel line. So I would have to think that this channel is very important. The price moved here for 7 years, from 2013, February 2013 to March 20, like almost exactly 7 years, right? And now we're getting a retest here. So can we get back into a 7-year trend? Because if you look at this trend, for us to get back here, we're looking at bottoms along this line. And just by February of next year, the bottom of this line's at 17,000. And it's quite possible that if we start going to the top, 140,000, later this year. There's a lot of opportunity, and there's a bigger, way bigger move coming if it's meant to come. So if you're hesitant, if you're unsure, if you're looking for entry, don't worry, there is plenty of time if it is meant to be. Just breaking over this, breaking this red line, this horizontal line right here, this resistance, it's really kind of struggled here, especially when it got to 13. It was over here for a little bit in this zone, dropped, and then came back. So I would have to think that a rejection here could be a sign that we're going to form something like a head and shoulders. We see a shoulder here for the resistance. We see the head. Can we come down, say maybe 61%, have a 61% retracement to about the 61 level, which also happens to be like a huge support line. So the Fibonacci, the 61 fib level, is at the 6100 level. So would not be shocked to see here. And then if we bounce and really get back towards 10 and break it, I'd be very, very bullish then. I'd be very bullish. This thing would, just slice through this channel like butter. And I think if it's going to slice through, like, you just see, by that I mean, you see a really big green candle. Because you got to think about this with technical analysis. These lines, they represent buyers and sellers. when you're at the top of the, the trend line, all the sellers are stepping in and selling their assets. They're saying no more, no more. You guys can just buy all our assets from here. So a lot of sellers start stepping in. This is the tipping point. Then the price starts going down. Then we get to the point where the buyers start supporting. So the price wants to go below this line, and the buyers are saying no way, no way. Every time we get to this line, we're just gonna buy it. We're gonna buy it. We're gonna buy it. Um, and yet again, it's the same thing, with horizontal resistance, diagonal resistance, Fibonacci retracements. It's just buyers and sellers stepping in for multiple reasons, and this is how our market is made. That's why I think technical analysis is so useful. It paints a bigger picture than any type of news you would read. Study the price and you will know what people think of the asset. I will tell you that much. So as we get to this resistance, it's going to be really hard for it to break. I'd expect it to cool down. Maybe if we hit this and then we break up, that could be a very bullish scenario, as I said. And if we break up like here, I just want to show you what happened when we entered this log. And I know that this log channel was really created based off the future price points, but just keep in mind the way this thing sliced through and how strong the move it was coming into this channel. And then it kind of formed a little line, here. So the fact that we're kind of seeing resistance here makes me think that, hey, price wants to come down a little bit. Also, if we are to slice through, I would just be thrilled. That would be stupendously bullish for me, and I would just want to be in my position, because this channel, once you're through, it could slice like butter, and we could just slice right through and just test this top resistance straight away. You could just see a move from 10 to 27. People are gonna be shocked when that happens, right? But I mean, that's just the way the price moves. Look at Bitcoin. When it entered the log channel, it went from $12 to really 200. 200, sub 200. So if it's to break through here, it's gonna break through here. But there's also pattern forming, and there's also the bearish scenario, because this is what I personally think is gonna happen with Bitcoin. I think we've topped out here. I think we had a chance to really resume towards this bull market. We had a chance to resume this bull market had we stayed in the channel. We did lose this channel, and it was due to Corona, which was, a huge liquidation event. And the week we lost it, the next week we sold off 50%, right? So it sliced through this line like butter. It did find support at the 200 week. This was a huge area of support where it was expecting a bounce here, and it's just been a really strong bounce. We've gone back all the way to the log channel, and that's very textbook. You lose a trend and then you retest it. So I think that's definitely kind of interesting that we lost this trend and we were able to come back up, even though the price we lost at was lower. We were able to come back higher and retest this resistance. It does look very weak right here, to be honest with you, even with the move to 10,300. Go follow my Twitter if you want live updates on Bitcoin. Like I said, I don't make videos as much, but this resistance point, we saw a big blow off top move. We saw a quick retracement. We got to 10,300, and around 10,100, 10,000, I started initiating more shorts. But I thought that if it was able to hold this move, or if it was even to go up, I would just cut all my shorts, just flip long, do a low leverage long. and just kind of ride this motherfucker out, Um, really, I think as long as we're tapped at resistance here, this horizontal resistance, which is very key, we have this downtrend we still need to break. It's just a lot to ask for from Bitcoin, especially after losing the channel and the fact that it's retesting a really a broken uptrend. So this is, to me, reminds me of the hope phase where people see the rally and they're like it's a shakeout V-shaped recovery. Sounds familiar with the economy, but and I think a lot of people expect it to just kind of like slowly trend up. So my opinion's different. I think if we break through here, I think a lot of people are going to be shocked when the price really starts running to like it gets to 20,000 quick, and then it tests the top of this log channel. I'd be ecstatic at 31,000, and I think we can start looking at it from that bullish perspective. I've really held up until the day we lost that channel. So we'll see if I'm right or wrong. Um, Another very important kind of factor, something to really think about, is what happens to the price in June. So these blue arrows represent a period between quarter two and quarter three, which is really June, July time. And really this area, this timeline is a lot looser. I would say, it's more like May to August. But we've seen a lot of the tops set in June or July. So, but we've seen it happen, as far out as May, as early as May, and as far out as August. But we are approaching that June time again, and just really, I'll just walk you through every June since Bitcoin's inception, or at least since this chart was made, since Bitstamp started recording. So here, see a little pullback after, but I wouldn't really consider that. This was actually a bottom right here before it just really took a moonshot. Here, significant top in May. So last week of May, we saw this top right before a big correction down. We saw a nice little rally here in July, up until July, and then we dumped. And then we saw, we slowly rallied up, but June time, saw the same thing, saw a massive dump after. And then we got to the June again, peaked, saw a massive dump after. And just keep in mind, this was first week of June, this was second week of June, this was second week of July, this was really first week of June, this was at bottom at second week of July. But yeah, you already see the pattern there. June, that first week of June, we saw that a few times, and we're already here now. I'm not saying that's gonna happen. But it's a game of probabilities. So you definitely want to entertain that. So we're at a period in time where also Bitcoin tends to top. We're seeing all this resistance. I think there's a lot of warning flags. And another chart I would look at is I would look at gold along with Bitcoin now, because I think the properties are really aligning for them to act in the same way. And I'm very bullish on gold, so very interested to see if Bitcoin can follow what gold does. But gold right now is even at a very, very key resistance level. When it hits 1800, it's probably going to see a significant pullback, few $100s. And I'd be curious to see if Bitcoin does the same thing. Is Bitcoin an asset that's correlated with gold? Is it not? Are we going to see both gold and Bitcoin pull back together and then start resuming a bull market again? Maybe gold breaks 18. Maybe Bitcoin finally breaks this 10.5 level, able to jump to 11, 12, 13. We don't know yet. As you know, I think that what's really setting up here is I think we're in the downtrend. I think the moment we lost this log channel, this signaled a massive shift in the trend for Bitcoin. I think we were in an uptrend for about 7 years. And while technically we still are in that uptrend, I think the confirmation really is if we break below this 32, that would be confirmation for a lot of people that this is a new bear market. But I'm trying to really see if I could get in at Bitcoin at the optimal time, really be able to trade this to kind of make money along the way, and also accumulate more Bitcoin along the way. So even though I got out early and I'm out here, I really am still targeting between 1100 and 2500. I think the price is going to go somewhere down here at some point in the future. My bias can switch if we're able to, kind of defeat this resistance, or maybe somewhere later down the line, a few months from now, we bottom out somewhere and we start seeing the reversal and the retest here. And I think you see a very strong pattern that is the technicals are signaling the price could hit 17 to 19,000 pretty quick. Yeah, that's really an update on Bitcoin. I know I've been kind of crying bear for a long time. I do think that there is a bigger picture that we should see. I'm a big believer in deflation, not inflation. I do believe in hyperinflation, but I think that is something that comes a little further down the line. I think we're still years away from really hyperinflation, but these things happen suddenly, so you never know. But I do think, we're in a deflationary environment. It should affect the price of Bitcoin. We're seeing a lot of bearish technicals, at least from the way I do my technical analysis. So we'll really have to see what happens. Leave a comment below. Let me know what you think, guys. Love to hear your opinion. I know a lot of people are bullish. I think there's a very strong case to be bullish. I want to be bullish on Bitcoin, but promised myself that when I taught myself technical analysis that I would use it and I would block out the noise. And that's, I want to buy Bitcoin. Don't get me wrong. I want to buy it. But I'm going to play the probabilities and see if I could get a better entry, a more optimal entry, and really manage my risk. So that's really all for today, guys. Appreciate you guys being here. I know I rambled on a bit. I missed making a video. It's been so long, so happy to be back. But leave a comment down below, like, subscribe, and we'll see you next time.